that this is going to be my labor and delivery video. Been a long time in the making, as she's going to be 7 weeks old tomorrow. But anyway, so I'm going to start off by saying the video that I posted before the whole introduction of Gabby video, I was saying that I was having contractions for about every like 20 minutes apart or so. Well, I had contractions for a full 4 or 5 days before I actually had her. So, yeah, that wasn't very fun. But, anyway, so my mom actually got here at 10 o'clock on the 11th. So her first full day here with us was on the 12th, which was a Friday. So it was like the day before my due date. And so, yeah, we had some errands we had to do, so we went, like, grocery shopping and that kind of thing. And I was having contractions this whole time. They were about anywhere between 10 to, like, 15 minutes apart at that point. During grocery shopping, they started to get closer about every 8 to 10 minutes, so they were getting just a little bit closer. So I was also, like, walking through contractions. I was doing everything through contractions while I was having contractions for even a few days before that. But anyway, fast forward to dinner time. It was about 5 or 6. It was about 5 o'clock when my husband got home, and I told him, I was like, you know what, we need to go to bed early because I'm pretty sure that the way my contractions are going, we're gonna end up having to go to the hospital tonight. We're probably gonna have her tonight or tomorrow. So I was pretty much assuming we were gonna have her on her due date. Well, so we got through dinner. Oh, by the way, at around dinner time, I was having contractions every 5 to 7 minutes apart. However, I wanted them to be, closer together since I was hoping for a VBAC. I was hoping they would be closer together before we actually went to the hospital. So they were every 5 to 7 minutes apart at this point. So by about 9:30, 10 o'clock, we all go to bed. Actually, me and my husband go to bed. I don't remember if my mom stayed up or not, but anyway, keep in mind this is her first day here, her first, actual day here. So her and Lex got along great, so that was good. And then by about 10 o'clock, they started to be consistently every 5 minutes. And again, I wanted to wait until they were every 3 to 5 minutes, so I was laying in bed, and they kind of spread out a little bit further, to where they were every 10 minutes apart, and then every 12 minutes apart, and I was like, great. So my contractions are getting now further apart, whereas today they were getting closer together. So, still having contractions, wasn't able to sleep. So by about midnight, they started getting so bad, I wasn't able to continue laying down to eat, or laying down to eat. So I wasn't able to lay down, and I figured throughout the day, if I kind of arched my back a little bit, they kind of felt a little bit better. They weren't as bad, because this whole time I've been having back labor. So it didn't hurt as bad when I, arched my back. So I was trying to do that. Mind you, it's midnight. I am dead tired. But still having contractions. So by about 1 o'clock, they got so bad that they were pretty much unbearable for me. I'm trying to sit, I'm trying to lay down, I'm trying to walk around, I'm trying to stretch and all kinds of these things, just to try and make the pain go away. That wasn't helping. So an hour later, I've managed to wait another hour. They're about 7 minutes apart now, consistently 7 minutes apart. So I wake up my husband, and I told him, I was like, you know what, I don't care if they're not 3 to 5 minutes apart. They hurt so bad that I want to go to the hospital. So, it's 2 in the morning, and obviously I had to come out here, wake up my mom, and tell her, what's going on. It's like, hey, we're going to go to the hospital. It hurts so bad. If anything, I at least need something for the pain. However, in the back of my mind, I'm like, watch, I'm going to get there, and I'm like, not even dilated, nothing. I'm just having back labor to tease me. Okay. Well, anyway, we get to the hospital, and it's about, before that, we had gotten in the car, and we had pretty much driven halfway to the hospital when I realized I don't have my wallet. I kind of figured it would be good to have, even if I pre-registered. It'd be good to have my wallet with me. Well, we forgot it. We had to come back, get my wallet, and then go back. So we finally get to the hospital, and they're checking us in, and they're trying to call the maternity ward, and nobody's picking up. So about 5 minutes later, somebody finally calls them back and is like, all right, what's going on? And then 5 minutes after that, so I've been standing here in the ER waiting for about 10 minutes with contractions, just waiting for someone to come and get me. And so finally they come and get me, and they wheel me into the maternity ward. And mind you, this is already the 13th. It's my due date, so pretty crazy. Anyway, so we finally get into, the maternity area. Where was I? So they finally got me into one of the rooms, and, obviously change and all that stuff, and then, they're asking me questions, and at this point, my contractions are about 2 minutes apart, and they're lasting anywhere from 1 minute to 2 minutes, so they're super close together, and they're super painful, and lasting a long time. So they finally decide to check me, and thank you to all these ladies that had come. They were waiting until, a contraction would pass before they'd try and ask me a question. They'd wait for a contraction to pass before they tried to do pretty much anything. So, yeah. So they checked me, and I was about 5.5 centimeters. So for me, that was kind of crazy to hear, being that, I was kind of worried that I wouldn't be at all dilated, to being told, basically I'm halfway there. Now, at this point, I've decided, you know what, I'm going to have an epidural. It hurts so bad that I do not want to try and do this naturally with no medicine. Yeah, so basically they were like, alright, well, let me get something to put into your IV to at least take the edge off. So they were going to get me Nubane or something like that. Anyway, so they put in an order for that. And so they were just going to let me just kind of chill out there for a little bit until the doctor came in, which, by the way, was not my doctor. My doctor wasn't on call. He was actually busy. So, yeah, so they had the on-call doctor, which I hadn't met him before, but I heard a lot of good things about him, just from the clinic. So, basically, he was on call, and he was alright with doing a VBAC. So anyway, I was there about an hour, sitting there in pain. They hadn't brought the Nubane, nothing, for about an hour, before he came in, and, he discussed everything. He was like, seeing as it is a weekend, trying to do a VBAC is a bit more challenging, because it'll take longer to call in people, to actually come in and, be there at the ready in case anything happens. He said, that his professional opinion, or whatever, he was like, I think we should just go ahead and do a C-section. And at this point, I was pretty much fine. I was like, you know what, I'm not necessarily giving up on a VBAC, it's just, I'm ready to end the pain. So at this point, I was like, you know what, a repeat C-section, I don't really care, I know what to expect. It's not really anything new for me. So I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and do the C-section. I mean, they still hadn't come in with pain medication, nothing like that. So I was still in, excruciating pain, or what I like to think is excruciating pain. Because anytime I was having this pain, it's kind of like where you're, trying to twist away from it. It doesn't ever work, trust me. So, yeah, so I went and had a repeat C-section. I gotta say, though, that having a repeat C-section, even though it was another kind of rushed type of C-section, not necessarily an emergency C-section. I believe my first was considered an emergency C-section, however, I didn't consider it to be one. But anyway, so I think the anesthesia was a little bit harder this time. Not for the fact that it was bad in general. It's having an epidural while having back labor is so bad, like so bad. But anyway, the doctor was great. He was actually, instead of a nurse like I had last time, like holding me up, it was actually the doctor who was going to be performing the C-section, so that was pretty cool. And he did a really good job. I gotta say though, it took a little bit longer after she was delivered. It took a little bit longer for him to sew me up and just kind of get everything ready. However, I feel like he did a much more thorough job. He actually took out some extra scar tissue. He took out just any of the extra stretch that was there, and he really put, you know, he really put me together a lot tighter than the last one. So I feel like this scar is definitely a lot better than the last one. But anyway, so she was born at 5:23 in the morning, 7 pounds, 5.5 ounces, and 21 inches long. There we go. So a lot bigger than Lex. But we're really happy about that. We didn't necessarily want another 4-pound baby, however, we knew what to expect. So having a almost 7.5-pound baby, that was a new thing. Yeah. Anyway, so that was how she was born. After that, it was pretty much straightforward. I left, so I got there early Saturday morning at like 2:30, and we left Monday at noon. So really fast. We weren't there very long, and I was really excited about that. She was perfectly fine. She had no issues, no jaundice, nothing that Lex had. So very, very healthy. The only issue we had was breastfeeding, not for the fact that she wouldn't latch on, nothing like that. She was great. Amazing breastfeeder. However, the only issue we had was those, let's see, that first day. So all of Saturday, she didn't really eat anything, and that kind of worried me a bit, because Lex ate, like, all the time and everything. So her not eating kind of worried me a bit, but anyway, yeah, so that is my labor and delivery story. There was a question that, Angela asked, if you don't know who she is, Angela Lilin here on YouTube. She asked me the difference between the experiences. Basically, I feel like the experiences themselves were a little bit similar. Like, they're very similar. However, they were a little bit different in the fact that I really enjoyed the staff this time, as opposed to last time. And everything went as smoothly as could be. Yeah, so that is pretty much what happened, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy.